Hey guys, what's up? Lamar here. I just wanted to come to you and say Happy New Year. And you may be thinking, dude, it's March, at the end of March. Yeah, I know, man. I've been neck deep in remodeling in my kitchen and blow my old arm out here. I got a brace on underneath this thing. And I've been trying to let it heal up a little bit. So we had January and February and part of March. And now this dang old coronavirus has kicked in. And I'm down here in the garage. And I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get back on the bug. We're going to do part 2 of this housing for the shifter and the bushing back in the tunnel. We're going to get this thing welded in. So stay tuned and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so here's what we got. This is the old shifter rod hanger that goes down into this location right here. And if you look at that, you can tell that there's something just a little bit different between the two. Over the years, the bushing has worn out, and you can see how much. The bushing has worn out in this thing, and somebody had put a piece of wire down in through here, and these two back little holes that we're going to weld up also, and had the hanger, the shifter rod running through and using that as a hanger. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get this thing fished in, and to fish it in, we got to come all the way up here to the front to get it to go all the way back there, because there's no way that can fit down in there. It's just, it's just ain't gonna work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get that in there, and what we're gonna do too, guys, is we're gonna get all this cleaned up and get all this little bit of rust and stuff off so our old MIG can get in here and do some welding. And then we're also gonna go ahead and get this top right here cleaned up just a little bit so it'll have a good spot to weld to. And then once we get this thing put in and clamped in, I'll be right back with you and we'll get this thing welded in. Okay guys, so I went over to my bench grinder and it had a wire wheel on it. You really can't see it from there, but you can notice I knocked the paint off of the top of this, so when we get the welding, you can, it'll stick to it a lot better. So I'm gonna take my grinder here and I'm gonna knock the surface rust off this, get the old hearing protection on, and we'll get this thing going. Okay, so after we got this all cleaned up real good, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some acetone and I'm just going to wipe it down. If there's any kind of residue on both parts, that'll at least clean up, and acetone will evaporate quickly, and I'm not going to jump right on it to get the welding because, we don't want any kind of chemical fires or anything like that. I really don't know how explosive acetone is. I've never really tried setting it on fire, but we're going to fish this thing through the front just like I was showing you. So let's just get right on to that. Okay guys, so I know you can't see me. I got my welding helmet and stuff on, but if you've done everything right so far, you've drilled out the top and you've drilled out the holes on your plate. And you can see the holes there. Now your new one is going to have little nipples that sticks up right here. And if you've done everything right, them little nipples is going to line right up with the holes that you've drilled, because you've drilled where the factory spot welds are at. Now what I've done is I fished the new hanger from the front up here at the beam and fished it back to the tunnel, raised it up, and then I put the nuts or the bolts in right here and tighten them down. So what we're going to do now is get in here and we're going to fill these holes up where the factory spot welds go. that right there is how you do that. Okay, so here's what we got. Got it all cleaned up around the edges right here. And like I said, I got to go back here and weld this up to make it smooth back up again. But I got 2 little tech tips for you. Number 1 tech tip is this thing right here. This broke piece that's here, it goes to the back. So if you put that thing in and it's welded this way, you're gonna have to drill it all back out again and redo it. So remember, reach in there and make sure that this thing is facing backwards. Okay, that's tech tip number 1 for today's video. And tech tip number 2 for today's video is, if you're not a good welder, you better be a good grinder. So there you have it, guys. 2-part session of how to put this shifter hanger in, and we'll get to the bushing on another video when I get that far down the line. So listen, thanks for tuning in, and bug out, guys.